31-year-old Frezja Baker was found dead inside a car in the Washington Heights neighborhood. Her family confirms that someone has now been arrested in connection with her death.
WCNC Charlotte's Jess.
On December 4th, 2025, a 31-year-old mother kissed her 2-year-old son goodbye at her grandparents' house. She promised she'd be back soon. She never came back. 8 days later, they found her body in her car behind an abandoned church. And the man they arrested, he'd already tried to kill someone before. If cases like this keep you up at night, if you want to understand the darkness that exists in our world, then you're in the right place. Hit that like button, subscribe to Shadow Crime, and smash that bell icon so you never miss a case. Because stories like Frezja Baker's need to be told. They need to be remembered. Let me tell you about Frezja. And I want you to really hear this, because Frezja wasn't just another headline. She was a real person with a real life. People who knew her said she was the kind of woman who would literally give you the shirt off her back. She was caring. She was loving. And more than anything else, she was a devoted mother to her little boy. Now, you have to understand something about Frezja. She wasn't the type to just disappear. She wasn't someone who'd go radio silent, especially when it came to her son. Her family knew her patterns. They knew her habits. They knew that if something was wrong, it was really wrong. December 4th started like any other day for Frezja. She had a dentist appointment scheduled, and being the good mom she was, she took her 2-year-old with her. Nothing unusual about that, right? Just a normal Wednesday. Just regular life happening. After the appointment, she drove to her grandparents' house on LaSalle Street in Charlotte, North Carolina. She dropped off her son there around 9:52 in the evening. Now, here's where things get important. Pay attention to this timeline, because every minute matters in cases like these. Before 10 p.m., witnesses spotted Frezja at 2 different locations. First, she was seen at the cookout on Sugar Creek Road. Then she stopped at the Quick and Easy Food Mart on LaSalle Street. Security cameras caught her at that gas station around 10 p.m. She was driving her gray-blue 2004 Honda Accord with temporary South Carolina plates. And here's something crucial that her family later told investigators. She wasn't alone. They said she was last seen with a man they described as an associate. We'll come back to that. At 10:30 p.m., Frezja called her brother. She told him she was about an hour away. About an hour from where? From coming back. From coming home. From seeing her son again. That phone call was the last time anyone in her family heard her voice. Think about that for a second. A mother calls her brother, says she'll be there in an hour, and then just vanishes into the night.
We need all hands on deck. We need all boots on the ground. We need everyone help to find her. So please come get some flyers so you can post it on whatever side of town that you stay on. Please help. Your job, Facebook. Anywhere. Facebook, everywhere.
Our Jesse Pierre is live following one of the biggest stories, not just of the day, but of the week. We have a heartbreaking update to follow. The missing woman, the search for a Charlotte mother has come to a heartbreaking end. She was found dead. And I know that Jesse Pierre has been speaking to her family and getting those updates. So Jesse, first of all, walk us through what we have learned and what are you hearing from family here?
You know, I spoke to her father and aunt and, you know, other family members and friends, and everyone's devastated, you know. And actually, I'm holding a flyer of Frezja Baker. We were just here on Wednesday speaking to her father and best friend across the street where they were passing out flyers, where they were desperately searching for her in this area near Washington Heights. Now, if down the street this direction to the left off LaSalle, that is the gas station where she was last seen, and CMPD actually released photos of images from her inside the gas station as well as her car earlier this week. And yesterday, this direction, only about 0.2 miles away at a church off of Sanders, that is where her car was found, and she was found inside and pronounced dead. Unfortunately, as of right now, the cause of her death is still unknown, but I spoke to her father and her aunt and they say this is devastating. However, they also say someone was arrested today. They say this is a man that Frezja was associated with, and that he was arrested earlier today. Now, we have reached out to CMPD to find out if there are any arrests or charges that they can share at this time, and are waiting to get that information confirmed. But they say that they believe this is the man who was responsible for her death. Julie?
Yeah, and Jesse, I know that this is obviously so tragic for the family, but now the kind of question of who did this and what happens now. I know that you have not heard back with any of that information from CMPD. Has the family said that CMPD has been communicating with them? Do you know anything about that?
So detectives called them earlier today to let them know about an arrest. They said that they are supposed to speak with detectives later today in the evening and so forth. So I'm sure it's going to take some while to figure out exactly what happened. Even when it comes to the cause of death, they also did not know that information as well, and that hasn't been released. From at last check, that has not been released. I think the sad thing also, outside of the loved ones that are struggling, is her 2-year-old son who is with family, and they tell me that he's just, calling for his mom, wondering where his mom is, 2 years old. And that's going to be a hard thing to figure out, the fact that he, to have to deal with the fact that he won't see his mother again. But as of right now, this is going to be probably a lot of long trial and so forth, as far as next steps in charges and what's going to happen next in who is responsible for her death. But as of right now,
The next morning, December 5th, her family tried calling her, straight to voicemail. They tried again, voicemail, again and again. Every single call went straight to voicemail. Now, you might be thinking maybe her phone died, right? Maybe she forgot to charge it. But remember what I told you about Frezja. This wasn't her. This wasn't normal. And her family knew it in their gut. Her son kept asking for her. A 2-year-old doesn't understand why mommy isn't coming back. He just knows she's gone. Can you imagine being that little boy's grandparents? Try to explain something you don't even understand yourself? By December 5th, Frezja's family wasn't waiting around. They reported her missing to the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. And listen, I need you to understand something about missing persons cases. The first 48 hours are critical. Everyone knows this. Law enforcement knows this. Families know this. Time is literally everything. The police issued alerts. They put out her description. They shared photos of her car, that gray-blue Honda Accord with the temporary plates. They told the public to be on the lookout. But here's the thing about a city like Charlotte. It's big. It's sprawling. A car can disappear pretty easily if someone wants it to. While the police were doing their job, Frezja's family wasn't just sitting at home waiting for updates. They couldn't. Would you be able to? They organized search parties. Friends showed up. Community members who didn't even know Frezja personally showed up, because that's what decent people do. They spread out across Charlotte, looking for any sign of her. They posted flyers. They shared her picture on social media. They checked places she might go. They called everyone who might have seen her. Day 2 turned into day 3. Day 3 turned into day 4. Nothing. No sightings. No leads that went anywhere. Her car had seemingly vanished off the face of the earth. And with each passing day, you could feel hope starting to crack. Not break. Not yet, but crack. Now I want you to think about what her family was going through during this time. Every phone call could be the one. Every knock on the door could be news. Good news or bad news, but at least it would be something. The not knowing is its own special kind of torture. Is she hurt somewhere? Is she being held against her will? Is she still alive? Her little boy kept calling for her. Mommy, where's mommy? How do you answer that when you don't know? The searches continued. December 6th, December 7th, December 8th. The community was still out there looking. Social media was buzzing with shares and reposts. Local news was covering the story. People were paying attention. But attention doesn't find someone. Action does. And despite all the action, all the searching, all the hoping, there was nothing. December 9th came and went. Then December 10th. By this point, We're looking at almost a week since anyone had heard from Frezja. A week since that phone call to her brother. A week of her son asking questions nobody could answer. The volunteers were still searching, but you could see it in their faces. That initial surge of adrenaline and hope was fading into something heavier, something darker. December 11th, still nothing. The police were following up on tips, but nothing was panning out. And you have to wonder what was going through the investigators' minds at this point. They've seen these cases before. They know the statistics. They know that the longer someone is missing, the less likely the outcome is going to be good. Then came December 12th, Thursday morning. Around 9:35 a.m., someone made a call to police. They'd found a car behind an old church on Sanders Avenue in North Charlotte, a gray-blue Honda Accord, and there was someone inside. Officers rushed to the scene. When they got there, what they found was every family's worst nightmare. Frezja was inside her vehicle. She was unresponsive. Paramedics were called immediately, but there was nothing they could do. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Let that sink in for a moment. For 8 days, while her family searched, while her son called for her, while the community held on to hope, she was there, behind an abandoned church, in her car, the same car everyone had been looking for. Now here's where your mind probably goes to the same place mine did. How did nobody find that car for 8 days? Sanders Avenue isn't in the middle of nowhere. This is Charlotte, North Carolina. There are people around. There's traffic. There are businesses and homes. How does a car sit behind a church for over a week without anyone noticing? Was it hidden? Was it in a spot people just don't go? Or did people see it and just not think anything of it? The police immediately classified this as a homicide investigation. They didn't release the cause of death to the public. And as of right now, they still haven't. But they knew this wasn't an accident. This wasn't a medical emergency. This wasn't suicide. Someone had killed Frezja Baker. Now the investigation shifted completely. This wasn't a missing persons case anymore. This was a murder investigation. And the police had one major advantage. Remember what I told you earlier? Frezja's family said she was last seen with a man they described as an associate. The police knew who that man was. His name is Lorenzo Thomas Inman Jr. He's 38 years old. And within hours of finding Frezja's body, the police were moving fast. They tracked Inman down to the town of Maxton, North Carolina. That's about 100 miles southeast of Charlotte, near Fayetteville. He wasn't hiding in plain sight in Charlotte. He'd left the area. Police arrested him that same day, December 12th, the same day they found Frezja's body. And the charges they hit him would tell you everything you need to know about what they believe happened. Murder, assault on a female, and here's the kicker: misdemeanor crime of domestic violence.
CMPD says 31-year-old Frezja Baker was found dead inside a car in the Washington Heights neighborhood. Her family confirms that someone has now been arrested in connection with her death.
WCNC Charlotte's Frezja Baker is live near where her body was discovered. And Jessie, what's her family saying tonight?
Well, they are devastated by all of this. And again, just a few days ago, we were here across the street with the family and friends as they passed around this flyer, desperately looking for Frezja Baker. And tonight, they are grieving. A father in disbelief, trying to process a week of fear that ended in tragedy.
I just hate that she's gone. I hate that.
31-year-old Frezja Baker found dead in a car left near a church off Sanders Avenue and Bettysford Road. It's the same area dozens searched for days after Frezja vanished last Thursday.
My daughter was sweet, kind, lovable, and gave the shirt off her back.
Excellent mother.
Frezja's cause of death has not been released, but her family say a man she was last seen with is now in custody.
The detective exact word was, we got him, we picked him up, we arrested him. That's what it is. And we charged him with murder.
Frezja's father didn't hold back, sharing strong words for the man he believes is responsible for his daughter's death.
But there's two words I really don't say. I hope this dude burn in hell. Because he had no business doing what he did to my daughter.
and a final message to his daughter.
I love you, and you're always in my prayers for the rest of your life. And you will never be forgotten. Never.
Frezja leaves a 2-year-old son behind who is currently with family. Now, CMPD has not confirmed an arrest or charges at this time, and they have not confirmed a cause of death as well. Live near Washington Heights, Jesse Pierre, WCNC Charlotte.
Absolutely heartbreaking. All right, thank you, Jesse, for that report.
Domestic violence. So this wasn't a stranger. This wasn't some random attack. Whatever relationship Frezja had with this man, the police believed there was a pattern of violence there. And when you start digging into who Lorenza Inman Jr. actually is, the story gets so much worse. This man was on supervised probation when Frezja was killed. Let me say that again. He was supposed to be under supervision. Someone was supposed to be keeping tabs on him. And you want to know why? Because back in 2019, Lorenza Inman was convicted of attempted murder. Here's what he did. He followed a man to a shopping center in Charlotte. He shot him in the chest. And then, while this man was on the ground, Inman stood over him and fired several more times. That's not a moment of rage. That's not a fight that went too far. That's execution. That's someone who wanted to make absolutely sure their victim was dead. The only reason it attempted murder instead of murder is because somehow that victim survived. So they sent Inman to prison. He served time. He got out. And in October 2025, just 2 months before Frezja died, he was back in court. This time he pleaded guilty to habitual misdemeanor assault and intimidating a witness. 2 months before Frezja's murder, the system knew this man was dangerous. They knew he had a pattern. They put him on supervised probation and let him walk around. And now Frezja Baker is dead. Her 2-year-old son is never going to see his mother again. He's going to grow up with photos and stories, but no memories of his own. He'll never really know her laugh or her smile or the way she hugged him. All because a man with a history of violence was given another chance, and he used that chance to take a life. The investigation is still ongoing. Police haven't released the cause of death. They haven't told us exactly what the relationship was between Frezja and Inman. They haven't explained how her car ended up behind that church or what happened during those 8 days. There are still so many questions that need answers. But here's what we do know. We know that Frezja Baker was a loving mother. We know she was the kind of person who cared about others. We know that on December 4th, 2025, she dropped her son off with family and never made it back. We know that someone with a history of extreme violence has been charged with her murder. And we know that somewhere in the gaps of our justice system, something went horribly, tragically wrong. So let me ask you this. How many chances should someone get after they've already tried to kill another human being? At what point do we decide that protecting potential future victims is more important than giving someone their 3rd or 4th or 5th opportunity to prove they've changed? And when the system fails and someone like Frezja dies, who's responsible for that? These aren't easy questions. They don't have simple answers. But they're questions we need to be asking, because cases like this keep happening. Women keep dying at the hands of men with violent histories. Children keep losing their parents. And we keep acting surprised every single time. If this case made you think, if it made you angry, if it made you want justice for Frezja and her son, then do me a favor. Share this video. Leave a comment with your thoughts. Subscribe to Shadow Crime, because we're going to keep covering these cases. We're going to keep asking the hard questions. And we're going to keep saying the names of victims who deserve to be remembered. Frezja Baker deserves that. Her son deserves that. And maybe, just maybe, if enough of us pay attention and demand better, we can prevent the next tragedy. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.